In this video, we're going to talk about mimetic creativity. And if that's an unusual sounding word, it actually comes to us from the Greek philosopher Plato. And the term he uses is mimesis. And what he means by mimesis is to copy. That's where we get our word mimic from. So he simply means creativity is simply mimicking things. So we're going to look at 3 techniques for mimicking the most basic form of creativity that we can use any place, anytime, anywhere. They're very simple to do. The first is to go on field trips, simply change our surrounding. The second is to make new friends, to hang out with new people. And the third is to copy nature, to look at what's already been done by nature. So let's talk about the first one, about going on field trips. This technique is called search and reapply. And what this means is a lot of times the way in which we're going to learn to do something new is we're going to see someone else do it, and we're going to go maybe to a new place to do this. So this is why traveling is so important to creativity. And this is why going to new spaces in your town that you haven't been to before is so important. So let me give you a simple technique. Take your phone or your camera and simply walk around your town in maybe a route that you haven't done before, and take some photographs of things that maybe you normally hadn't noticed before. Maybe go to a different restaurant, maybe go to a different kind of sporting event, something that you don't normally do, and then ask yourself, when you look objectively, when you step back, what is it that they're doing to be creative, and how can you apply that to what you're doing? The second form of mimetic creativity, the second technique, is to simply hang out with new people. And to do this, you might want to associate with a new crowd. Now, one of the interesting things is the more we hang out with people who are like us, the more we develop what's called dominant logic. And dominant logic is basically we can't see other perspectives. So rather than giving you a fancy term for dominant logic, if you've ever talked to anybody about religion or about politics, you know what dominant logic actually means. They don't change their mind, and they can't change your mind. So what if you intentionally went places and you intentionally talked to people that you normally wouldn't talk to, and maybe saw things from their point of view? There's a fancy term for this called counter-attitudinal advocacy. And what it means is try and see things from another person's perspective. Now, what's key when you do this is you have to hang out with people who are not like you in places that you normally don't go to. So, for example, if you're a rather conservative person, find a progressive rally somewhere in your town and attend it. If you're a religious person, find a religion that you don't belong to and attend services at their temple. If you're a hardcore rock and roller, find an opportunity to attend the symphony. Surround yourself with people who aren't like you, and you'll get new ideas. Finally, the third technique is simply to copy nature, and we have a fancy word for this. It's called biomimicry, to mimic nature. Think about Leonardo da Vinci and how he went out and saw all of the seedlings fall from trees, and he came up with an early version of the helicopter. Think about the geodesic dome that you see when you walk into Epcot at Disney World in Orlando. It was developed by a man named Buckminster Fuller, and it was based on a pollen spore. Fuller saw the pollen spore as the most stable structure in nature, and he actually built the dome around it. I want you to think about the rudders on ships and submarines. They're based on the flukes of whales. I want you to think about the wings on our jet fighters, our fastest jet fighters, and how they look a lot like falcon wings, because they're actually based on those ideas. So what you're going to do when you have a challenge or you have an opportunity you're trying to sort out, you're going to go to nature and you're going to pay careful attention to the design of nature, to the process of nature, and the dynamics, the changing of seasons, how things grow, what things eat, how they run, how the sun shines on things. And you're going to have these observations, and you're going to keep a notebook of those observations. You're going to record your observations, and then you're going to apply those to your challenge, and that's going to develop your creativity. So we're going to search and reapply. We're going to hang out with new people, and we're going to go to nature. These are all easy things to do, can be done very quickly, very easily. Anyone can do them, but they're going to develop our foundation for creativity, and that's going to allow us to get to the next step in the pyramid, and that is bisociative creativity.